Hey, it's Gage, and welcome to my stage. I'll try not to fidget with my hair too much. I might take my teeth out because this is one of those videos where I'm getting to smoke weed and maybe a cigarette or two. And I usually like to lounge without my teeth, but I wear them in so that I can look good for myself and other people. I also feel good because of my teeth. However, people are way too judgmental on like everything, including the whole teeth situation. Because, like I've talked about, I swear, people are so, like, ignorant and uneducated when it comes to, like, the genetics of teeth. Because my family is the perfect Punnett square or whatever of genetics when it comes to teeth, right? My dad has good teeth. My brother got good teeth. Mom has bad teeth. I got bad teeth. It's genetics. And I swear, people in the dentistry jobs, and just run-of-the-mill people, even my own father, before he understood better that it wasn't me, would just like ridicule me for my mouth. Like I had the inability to take care of my teeth. And it was absolutely ridiculous, especially because growing up, and I'm not trying to out these friends, but I had friends that also had bad teeth, and some of them had like rhymes or reasonings or like health problems that like did that. Like one of my friends, he had Crohn's, and like that has an effect on your teeth. But then I had other friends who would lie, and I guess just make people like us look bad because they straight up just don't brush their teeth. They have no genetical bullshit going on. They just straight up don't care. And so we get the brunt force of that because of those people. My own mother, a friend's mother of mine, many people have actually confided in me that they got treated exactly the same way. Like it had to be like hard drugs or something. Like, and I even made the joke, like, what if I was in a horrific accident that just kind of smashed all my teeth? Are you going to ridicule me like I just decided to Ed and Eddie-esque bite a jawbreaker or something? And so, like always, when I partake of my smokables or even drinking, I always tell people to watch yourself, check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, I got myself well substantiated with my family and everything, so I can handle these substances. Except for cigarettes, I'm trying to quit. So, pray for me or whatever. I was just making more videos on Metaverse or Facebook or whatever. I'm not going to lie, I actually kind of liked it when Mark Zuckerberg called it Metaverse. I thought that was cute. I was like, oh, it's like he's trying to make their Matrix real. I was like, I see you, girl. But then everyone didn't like that. But I don't feel the same way as I do about what's his F changing Twitter to X. I always thought that was weird, only because calling it X makes it sound pornographic. Anything with an X sounds pornographic. Like even like I think there was like a WWE something where it was like WWE XX something, and it kept getting in trouble because one more X leads you to porn. There's also like a whole like Latin X thing too. I've also heard some people of said culture don't like that kind of terminology because again, it's like heavily fetishized, and two, you add an X and then porn. So calling Twitter X makes it sound dirty. Meanwhile, Metaverse, I kind of see what he was going for, especially with like the trend of VR and stuff. So instead of breaking not YouTube, instead of breaking Facebook like usual with all my videos, which I swear like no one but like my family and a few friends are watching, which like, hi, thank you. And it's fine. I'm not like bitter about it, but I'm like very vocal in the fact that like I don't care about the monetary value. I would love to make money for my skills and volunteer work and art and all the stuff that I do. But at the same time, I just kind of like feeling like I belong in the world, to be honest. And it's so funny as I've continued to open up further and further and further because I've been at this for 14 years since the bullshit that I've talked about on my channel of like my misdiagnosis and everything. I've been resonating with so many people in 2026. It's like we all at the same time decided to take this year for ourselves. And I don't mean that it's just for us like neurodivergent people or like autistic, selective mutism, bipolar disorder. Like it's basically about all marginalized groups and the misunderstandings and ignorance that accompanies that. So like the best way I can kind of describe it is I've been really really vibing with a lot of people who've been talking about like the cultural issues in my country in America. And it's like, despite how much you may vibe with your fellow people of different ethnicities, there is a certain level of disconnection because I am not that ethnicity. As you can see, I am white as fuck. I'm actually like uh, Viking descent, Irish, Canadian. So that's where all this red comes from. And so as a writer, and I've actually talked about this in many different writing groups full of different, all sorts of people from walks of life, and they really resonated with this because they were talking about how when you write characters of any race, it is so easy to fall into racial stereotypes, especially when you're not that race. Even if you have friends of that race and you want to pay homage to that race, you might accidentally fall into some stereotypes because you don't know any better, right? And so that's why you really need to do your due diligence. Like one of my favorite examples that I as a writer didn't even fucking know about, it's been 6 minutes, I think, I hope I can swear, is the angry black woman trope. Growing up, I always thought that was funny. People get angry, there's angry people. Angry black woman never meant anything to me. Cut to me as an adult, and so many people, especially black women, being like, I am so tired of being held to a standard because of the black angry woman stereotype. And I was like, say more. No, please say more. Because as someone who deals with some similar rhetoric, I was curious. And yeah, apparently because of the stereotype of the angry black woman, so many black women have to stay calm and pristine and not get angry at the slightest because, oh, you're just an angry black woman, a caricature. And with my bipolar disorder, I really resonate with that because it seems like every time I get any sort of angry, there's like a certain caricature in their head of who I'm going to be with said emotions. And I understand that there are some people who fly off the handlebars regardless of who you are. I've dealt with some people who have actually tried to jump me and fight me in public. There are many reasons why I have agoraphobia. That is just one of them. And I handled the fights with my martial arts training. But I sit there and I go to this place all the time. It's a minute right by my house. I've been going there since I was little. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, I lived in this neighborhood my whole life. Why have I been jumped like 4 or 5 times? I forget. It's been too many times. Like, I've been hit by cars. I've gotten jumped. Like, there's so many things that have happened to me out those doors that I put on a brave face and I meet reality where reality meets me. But at the same time, it's like, I always make this joke with my agoraphobia where I'm like, all right, here we go. It's time to go on our walks or whatever. And I'm like, and that's when the meteorite hits me, you know? Or there was a show called Dead Like You, Toilet Girl. Her name is George, where she went on a break for lunch from work, and she got hit by a toilet seat from a space station. And that's kind of where my brain goes sometimes before I leave, my agoraphobia and my social paranoias. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get hit by the proverbial toilet seat from some space station. Probably one that they forgot about, like some space debris is just gonna come take your guy out. Gage, like, oh, how'd he die? Oh, I don't know. It was a fossilized shit that has been orbiting Earth for about 12 years, and you're like, wait, he was killed by fossilized shit? Yeah, he was killed by Wait, where's the paper? Yeah, he was killed by fossilized shit, yeah. And I understand there's a certain irrationality to the way I and like many people with minds like mine work, but it's like a really complex mentality that really does just like keep us safe. And it was so funny because the Malcolm in the Middle reboot, which yeah, I had notes, but I really resonated with it because I swear all 4 episodes was talking about stuff I've been talking about for 14 years as someone who really resonates with that family, who my whole family resonates with the Malcolm in the Middle family. I believe there's so many like blue collar families or whatever, however you want to say it, that really resonate with the lower income family that's literally scraping by and somehow still making it, and scraping by and still making it. And in this reboot, it was really nice to see them like still worried about money and stuff, because that was actually my biggest problem with the King of the Hill reboot. I didn't really like how much money Peggy and Hank had in a time when a lot of people don't have money, but then Bobby needs help for backing his restaurant, and they might have gone that way narratively with them helping him, but the fact that they're just like, oh, we have all this retirement money, I wonder what we should do with it. There's that whole episode they ended up with where they were investing and made more money. I'm like, why did neither one of them go, maybe we should invest in Bobby's restaurant? And then because of like the episode where they didn't partner together to make the beers or the hops or whatever, it would be a whole dynamic of them meeting minds for Bobby's restaurant. And so meanwhile in Malcolm in the Middle, that's all the family is I'm your family. I'm sorry that we're like this, but this is just kind of how it works. And I definitely resonate with my family, who my cousin literally said, and I quote, Gage, it's called tough love. That's our family. Like, he was reminding me that it's tough love, that our family loves each other, but we're tough, like cowboys. We're gonna like pick at you and press your buttons and stuff. Like, we might get upset, you know. I might have certain feelings about a situation. That doesn't mean we stop being family. Doesn't mean I don't love my dad because he can be a gorish rogue or whatever. It doesn't mean I stopped loving my mom because she got lost in her feelings. It doesn't mean I alienate myself from my extended family just because communication can be hard. Even for me, I have selective mutism. I've been talking about it nonstop, but part of that is being hyperverbal because I'm kind of over-explaining myself, and then the other half of that is going fully mute, or I white lie. And we all forgive Gage for this. This is actually part of a joke that I kept telling my family. We all forgive Gage for this. But I white lie to get you to leave me alone. So, like, I could fully disagree with you, but because of my selective mutism, I go mute. The other person's talking and talking about how great they are, how correct they are, and how wrong I am. And even if I know they're wrong, I'm like, yep, you're right, I'm wrong and stupid. I am so stupid and wrong. Oh, I'm so sorry for being so stupid and wrong. And I don't say it as sarcastically, that was more for a joke. But that is basically what I've been doing my whole life. Like when I used to do this, when I used to self-harm, I used to just lie about this and tell no one until it got so bad I had to out myself one day, and that's in one of my videos. And the worst part about all of this is people who think like my father used to think, because my father's a very analytical, scientific man, and so he will not refute research, like scientific, medical grade research backed with multiple sources, right? And so I've just been beaten over the head with my research for 14 years, and I've learned to back off the old man. But, you know, there's a certain level of ignorance solely because, not because you're refusing or you don't want to, they don't understand. I call it the grandma-grandpa complex, because my grandmother is one of the sweetest, old women in the world, right? Since I was a kid, if grandma's mad, it has to be your fault. And for a while, she started getting upset about the non-binary trans stuff. And I sat there with my grandmother, who accepts me for being gay, and was like, what's happening here? It's the same thing, just a different way. That's literally what I believe in. I believe that we're all in this together, and anyone who's a part of that spectrum needs to band together. So I talked to my grandmother, and I ended up going the other way with it. I was like, and bear with me here because she's old, I was just trying to open a dialogue and it worked. I was like, what if they are wrong? Grandma, what if they are wrong? Will you just belittle them and keep doing this where you just think they're wrong and blah, 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 blah? And mind you, it's because of a fellow family member. I see you. I love you. I'm sorry. Anyway. And my grandma sat there and was like, and then I saw my grandmother again. I didn't see this angry woman who didn't understand because of her generation and because of whatever was going on between her and this other family member. No, she was like, no, I would love them, and I would tell them that it's okay, and we'll figure it out from there. And I was like, there you are. There's my grandmother. And then I furthered the conversation, was like, well, Grandma, so if they showed fault, would you show fault? Would you try to understand there might be more to this than you understand? And she, again, sat there with herself, and my grandmother thinks about things like my family does, and she was like, Yeah, I know. I could probably be wrong about a thing or two, but I just don't know why they can't talk to me. And I was like, there it is, right there. It's this inability to meet in the middle. I'm not blaming one side or the other. It happens with my father all the fucking time. It literally happened earlier before he went to bed, dude. And I know I can talk. I think I can talk a lot. I think I don't care. Most of this is for me anyway. Um, but I came upstairs to make the other pizza. It's Pizza Friday. If you follow me on Meta or Facebook, it's Pizza Friday. I've been talking about that. We have Pizza Friday, Taco Tuesday, Steak Wednesday. We used to do McDonald's Monday, but sometimes spending money on Mondays all the time for fast food wasn't really the thing, especially after they got rid of Redbox. Um, but it's Pizza Friday, so I came upstairs to make the other pizza. I'm still hungry. My brother's sleeping. My little brother's sleeping because work's been kind of sucky. And I'm talking to him, and I can't remember what one of the rhetorics we were talking about. We talk a lot about everything in the world, and we were talking about one of those things like a social rhetoric, and I was agreeing with him, but I just didn't verbally go through agreeing with him. So he thought, and he might have been a little tipsy. We drink together, but anyway, he was like, no, it's like this. So I backed off, tried to explain myself because I'm being more mindful now. And I was like, oh no, Dad, I do get your point. And then just repeated what he said back to him because, that's all he wants to hear, having the point that was said that is both understood by him and me. And technically speaking, I would be making more of it if I were to continue trying to explain the point he's making. All I have to do is just convey that I get it. Now, a lot of my problem is the fact that I try to explain to people that I do get it with my own words, but they go, no, you don't get it because you did not use my words in the way that I said it, in the way that I see it. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I don't fucking care. I'm like, I'm not going through all of the verbal steps just to explain to you that I do understand you. When I just explained it, I do in a different way. Because that was also another one of my problems with my family. I understand when other people are doing that. So I'll be like, oh, the sky is blue. And let's say they say, oh, no, it's azul. Or it's like a certain blue, like a cyan or whatever, right? And I understand they're just using more adjectives to describe what they are also seeing. I'm a writer, I'm a poet. I understand when it comes to different perspectives. One of the things I've always hated, though, is when I explain something in a short way, short, to quote the Fifth Element, and they say it all in a very long way just so they can, hear themselves speak and sound like a galaxy-minded person. And I don't know, as someone who likes to talk myself, I try not to judge people too much for this, because it's one of the biggest reasons my father and I butt heads is because we both want to talk and we both feel like we can't talk to one another, and so we'll just get on our soapboxes and just talk. I love it. I love being able to talk so openly with my family. My mother, father, and brother are like this. The only problem is my dad. We end up butting heads sometimes. We're both alpha males or whatever. And so, yeah, just a lot of my life has just been having to be more mindful of these things. But the most annoying part of all of it is how I always feel like I have to be the bigger person. I don't know if it's because of my neurodivergency or my BPD with my big emotions and the fact that I very outwardly express how I feel. I'm very blunt, I'm very honest. Sometimes I end up having to say the mean thing in a nice way. No joke. I have no problems with empathy. I very well empathize with people, animals, objects, plants. Honestly, sometimes when I'm hanging out outside, sitting with a tree, it's like we're vibing and talking, I don't think the tree is actually talking to me, but you get it, it's like Fern Gully, Crystal asks Zach after he carves her name in it, don't you feel its pain? You're empathizing. Though she actually had fairy magic. I'm talking metaphorically. She actually had fairy magic. And then recognizing the fact that it's my family meets me in the middle, and that's why I can better meet them in the middle. However, so many people in my life want me to do all of the emotional work, all of the emotional uh, basically equating to figure whatever's going on out. And then the worst part is most people don't know how to communicate how they think and feel, to the point that I've been told that, like, wow, Gage, you're like very open. And I'm like, well, it's because I found in life that if I'm not, shit kind of goes sideways. And maybe because of my misdiagnosis in the psych ward, I almost got into this mentality that unless I'm being observed, then I must be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm alone too long, then, I must be doing something insane, even though I'm literally just hanging out at, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I got no plans still, no new clients. Everything's all together, so I've just been relaxing for now because I've been doing so much. I think I've talked about it on here and elsewhere. But I actually had to not get ahead of myself, right? And by the way, these are like thinking sticks to me. I know that's a bad mentality and I'm more of an oral fixation, like Deadpool said, or Ryan Reynolds said in the first Deadpool movie. But it is what it is. But yeah, because that's also been another one of my problems, is getting ahead of myself. And I'm the guy that will barrel through and finish an entire project all by myself. Also, I don't like this lighting, so I'm going to sit this way and maybe move my camera. Is that better? I think that's better. I think that's better. I think that's better. Sometimes I don't even know what my real voice even sounds like ever since the Crazy Hatch. So I'll finish one thought before another. But yeah, I had to stop because I'll barrel through and finish projects, art projects, cleaning projects, like you name it. Like, I won't stop until I'm done. Gosh, my new friend Johnny got front row tickets to that. I actually forgot he was there. I felt so embarrassed. I even forgot to talk to him about it. Oh, teeth are coming out. So, before I finish, I want to talk about the psych ward some more. I was helping him move, and I'm grabbing his stuff, and I'm taking Tubbs out to our vehicle, right? Like, I'm just hoofing it, I'm going. My mom and my aunt are being awesome and reminding me to be careful because it was a steep incline, so I'm making sure to lean back so I don't fall forward. I get everything out, but at one point they were like, oh, Gage, take a break. I'm visibly exhausted. I think I'm wearing this one-piece shirt that I love. I actually wear it when I want to remind myself to relax, right? And I got everything in there, but I kind of like half blew up at them. I made sure to apologize for it. I always apologize for my blow-ups, even if I'm justified. But I was like, I'm almost done. Just fuck it off. And I forgot there was a new person there, and usually I'm far more well-behaved around new people. All my neurodivergent, autistic BPD friends know what I'm talking about, Mask on when we first meet, slowly starts to gauge whether or not I can truly be myself or not. And I can be myself around Johnny. I have really said some things to him, and he's just like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, all right, Johnny, you're fucking cool. He is really fucking cool. He's really sad because he's got a lot of shit going on. He's in a lot of fucking physical pain. Not even like emotional nervous system pain. He's like in full-on nervous system pain all the time because he's healing from brain cancer. So like it makes my fucking BPD pain look like a joke. No joke. I was literally telling him I was sitting with that because since he takes a lot of time to himself because he's still recuperating, even my own family, my aunt and my mom were like, yeah, what's going on? He's not really replying to us. And I told him, I was like, hey, hun, you're kind of giving me a BPD flare-up. I'm trying to be more on top of it. You're okay. You're not avoiding us, and you're not, like, gonna hurt yourself sad, right? And yeah, we talked it out, and he's like, thank you, and everything's all good and copacetic, and he's like busy too. He's been having appointments, and he's been having to do his rehabilitations, and I just want to make sure he doesn't get too sad. And it happened to me. I haven't talked about this. I probably will after the whole BPD thing. No, not BPD. Psych ward. More about the psych ward. That I truly sat with the fact of my privilege, that my pain is emotional, which is technically worse because it hurts more neurologically upstairs. But it goes away. It stops. I get through it. I turn it into something else. I move on to other things. He can't turn physical pain happening all the time into happiness, no matter how much energy he has or how much energy I have trying to send his way. Oh, so the thing I really wanted to say about the psych ward that I've been really coming to and sitting with for a while now is not just the fact that I and my family are correct. Oh my gosh, you just make it into a joke now. How they're just lying to them, lying to me, and lying to my family, and then telling me I'm just a paranoid schizophrenic and my family doesn't want me. Meanwhile, my family is actively trying to figure out how to get me back home and what happened and why they keep saying that I'm so crazy that I'll never be this person that you see before you. The fact that I am me, lucid, calm, and collected, literally proves them wrong. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is the fact that because of my complex thinking and my use of metaphors and similes, they got confused. So one of the biggest ones, I was talking about it with a friend recently, is, and this happens to a lot of neurodivergents and autistics, because we interpret our thoughts as other voices. They're all me. I don't hear voices. These are my thoughts and the way that they're organized. Sometimes I speak in the guise of my mother and stuff that she said. Sometimes it's my dad or my grandmother or something my dad's officer from basic training said. All of these things and quotes and stuff stay with me. I'm not like being told to hurt myself, or I can't control these voices. Honestly, I've been meditating for over 9 years. So the misdiagnosis of the paranoid schizophrenia 14 years ago. And then like 4 years in or so, 4 or 5 years in, my mom and I both really got way more into mindful meditation. And mind you, I did not know just listening to music and really collecting and sorting your thoughts was just what meditation is. There's a lot more words you can use, but that's essentially how my meditation works and how I've really gone about it for the past 9 years. I do it in a really hot bath. I listen to all my music, and honestly, sometimes I just let my thoughts go wild. Or sometimes after a while, I've gotten so zen. You can ask my family if you want for my affidavit on this. I have gotten so zen, 2 or more hours go by while I'm just in the bath, no thoughts. Or the only thoughts are basically, oh, this is fucking amazing. Like I'm medicated. Or there's been a couple videos on here where I'm very meditated and otherwise, and I almost sound drunk. My family actually got concerned because they know I don't have a drinking problem. I think I said it on Facebook, and as I actually opened one of my last drinks, I only had 4, and I actually wasn't drinking tonight yet. I drank 2 last night and half of one, fell asleep, woke up, poured that out, and then this is my last one, I guess. Yeah, it's my last one. And so I'm very aware of myself and the things I'm doing, but they thought I was like overly intoxicated, but I just had to tell my mom. I was like, no, I was just like super calm and zen, and even I realized that I was slurring, so I was trying to enunciate. I also made a joke about why I get an accent and sometimes why I over enunciate, because I mumble even when I'm sober. I literally, I have a speech impairment that I've been working on since I was a child, and sometimes it comes back, and am very embarrassed by it. I immediately go from feeling like an intelligent person to a fucking dunce, which is how most people make me feel. I like tasty drinks. This is a lime margarita. And that's the funny thing, too, that I had to really sit with when it comes to substances. There's no such thing as a good or a bad drug. There are just substances and chemicals in this world that have mitigated effects on us humans, and we as humans have to decide whether or not those are a good or a bad effect. And I really hate the demonization of these substances solely because of people's lack of control. They demonize the substance, and I even talked to my mother, who herself had a stint with alcohol. Even she agreed with me that while you're in that mentality of addiction, yeah, alcohol is evil. You literally can't control your consumption of it. But me, recreationally smoking weed to help calm down or having a few drinks doesn't mean I'm an addict. And I don't mean to be so angry about that, but my whole life, I have been on myself to like stick with weed and just a little bit of alcohol, especially because my mom and my dad, and my mom's still with us, and she beat that. She's been sober for over 14 years. And my dad, he's always been able to hold down a job and come home, and he unwinds with a few beers and goes to bed. And that's what he does. And so I don't drink quite like mom, and I don't drink quite like dad. I mostly just stick with my weed. I just have the drink left, and I thought I'd have it. But yeah, honestly, one of the biggest things about unmasking that's been so uncomfortable with me, and this has happened my whole life, mind you, with boyfriends, friends, just so many people where they're like, oh, you're two-faced, you pretend to be someone you're not. Yeah, you face. I wear a mask because I can't be myself around you. Kind of like when gays, were in Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I pretend to be as straight as I can to fit in with the boys, man. Like, you don't understand that I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm not doing it to get one up on you. I'm doing it to socialize. I'm doing it to feel like a person. I'm doing it to have friends. Maybe attract a mate. And I slowly try to, show you who I am, but no one fucking likes that. No one but sorry. I don't have to apologize. No one but my family and very few confidants and at least 2 friends from high school that actually remember me. We've actually talked recently. I don't know how comfortable they are with me using their names on YouTube. On Facebook, they're perfectly fine with it. They're like, oh yeah, say my name as much as you want. But I haven't been told whether or not it's okay if I use their names on YouTube. But yeah, one of them picked me up on a lineup of comments. And I was like, "Oh my God, you remember me?" And she remembered me, or they. I think they're more binary now. But they were like, "Yeah, you cut my hair," and they remembered I cut myself, and I refused the bandage and just sucked the blood clean. I think that's why she ended up calling me Vampire. And she was a freshman, and they were a freshman, and that's why the nickname stuck, because they used it all the time. But we watched Pokemon, Blaine versus Ash. And I immediately cited that memory to them, and they were like, "Yeah, that was you. You were the guy." I broke a straight razor, and I gave her a freaking emo fringe, dude, because they're a cool person, and they're still a really cool person. It was actually insane. In their profile picture, they were wearing a black and gray or like black and white striped shirt, long sleeve shirt, just like I have. I don't know if you've seen it on here, and it's my favorite shirt. And so I couldn't help but being like, hey, we like grew up into the same person. And they even said they had their hair pink and black, and my hair is starting to fade to pink and black now. It was purple, but everyone loved the pink, so I went and got the lilac again, and I wanted to do it with the black. I'm just so proud of my split dye job. I tried this before, but I was a dum-dum. I used white and red, and it was all pink down the middle. Oh, no. Everyone kept telling me that it looked good, right? But I was like, this is not the vision. The vision was red and white, like the singer from the movie Red from One Piece. I forget her name, but I remember if you get it wrong, it sounds like something dirty. So, I wanted my hair like hers, so I painstakingly did that. I separated, and I didn't let them set. I let them too soon afterwards, and it just bled pink all through my root. And to my credit, it could have been a lot worse. And I could have gotten more pink in the white. You know, the red might not have been red. And so it looked good. But I knew where the flaws were. And oh my god, that's another thing I really wanted to talk about on my channel. And I might just upload this one because I really do just like to talk, you know. You're dabbing with Gage. And I don't really feel like I get to talk with a lot of people outside of my family very often. And most of the time, whenever I talk to people, they always tell me that I talk too much. Or no one, they're like, wow, a lot of people don't talk this much. I'm like, yeah, I'm hyperverbal, I have selective mutism, and I really don't know how to interact with other people, and I've been researching psychological rhetoric and social standings in order to try to be human. I know I'm human, but, you know, society kind of made me not feel human, and that's the neurodivergency, I guess. Signing off, making more videos.